There's a machine that I repaired in the past, but I think it's going to need some more work done to it. Now, why am I doing more work to it? Because I've got a customer who wants this machine. So I need to get this thing up and going 100%. Now, the problem that it has is there's a switch on the cassette housing, basically, that needs to be cleaned. But we're going to show you what this thing does. Now, this is the 711D. 711D was in the SL2500, the SL2700. This is the SLO 420, which is the same machine as the 2500, only it is the industrial machine. So this is the professional model. This does not have a tuner. It has no tuner. And it even has a little note here, this lid cannot be opened, because it's glued shut from the factory, I believe. Well, usually it is, but it was. But it's not now, but there's no tuner in it. But one thing that this does have that the regular 2500 didn't have is it doesn't have, this has stereo. This has got Dolby linear stereo. So this is an SLO 420. I'm going to also be putting back in the original power supply, because at one point I thought that the power supply had an issue, and I thought that was the reason why it wasn't accepting a tape, but then I found out that it wasn't, and so I'm going to be putting the original power supply back in here. This was put in here because I thought it would cure a certain problem, but it didn't. It turned out to be a bad switch. Anyway, you'll notice here we've got, these are BNC adapters. These are for, yeah, it's gonna come off. And they're kind of stuck on there. There we go. But these are just BNC jacks for the video in and out. There we go. So there's a little BNC. Connectors here, but you'll notice here you've got a left and a right. You've got white and red. So this is this is Dolby stereo. This is linear stereo. This is not a hi-fi, and the guy that sold this to me listed it as a hi-fi stereo. It is not a hi-fi stereo. However, I could see why somebody might think that, because if you look at the back, you've got a red and a white for your audio, a left and right speaker. So, and that would be confusing to anybody who doesn't know these machines. And you could think that because, and most stereo machines have hi-fi, but not all of them. We're going to go ahead and plug this in, and I'll show you what it's doing. Now, I may need to just do a good cleaning on that switch, but we also need to do a service on this, because I want to make sure this thing is going to work 100%. Not only is it going to work 100%, but it's going to stay working I'm going to make sure that this is a very reliable machine for my customer. So I'm only asking $100 for this, but it is going to be a working machine when he gets it. In fact, it's going to be one of the most reliable machines. Okay, let's turn the power. Okay, so that's basically what it's doing here. And you'll see that it's actually got both lights lit up. So the eject light is lit up, and Tigger is very curious of what we're doing. So yeah, you can see that you got both lights lighting up. And so we're gonna, well, I don't think it'll take a tape because that switch is acting up again. So cleaning it with the contact cleaner is not good enough. It's not going to do it. We've done that once before, and it was working when I last used it. It's not now. But what we can do is we can push the tape in so that switch will be activated when we hit the power. No, we're not even getting any, no insertion of the tape at all. Now this has also got a crack here at on the case here, on the front of the case here. So we'll have to get something to repair. I'll put something on the back side there to do a repair and keep that. I'll see if I've got another front face plate here that I can maybe swap out, but so I think I've got a parts deck. But I've got this one that I fixed, and I've got a parts deck that had way too much. So actually, I think if I'm gonna hold my tape in like that. I'm gonna turn the power off. We're gonna turn it back on. And now it's loaded a cassette. Now if we hit play, you'll notice that we'll have play. So it's counter. Counter is reset, so alright, let's get this counter working here. Something going on with the, there we go, there's the counter. So it's got the counter, and as you can see, it is working, right? And it even has a tape remaining counter on it. I actually kind of hate to get rid of this thing because this is like one of my favorite Betamax machines out of all the machines. This is one of my favorites. Now I have my SLH of 1000. I've got a 750, and those two machines are really good machines. They're built like tanks. They're a workhorse, right? Rewind works really good. Forward works. I believe I did do a service on this thing. But if we hit eject here, let's reset the counter. Yeah, there's something going on with the cassette housing because it shouldn't be. It's getting caught and jammed, so we've got a problem with the cassette housing that we're going to have to fix. Again, that is that switch that's got a problem and it's not working correctly. Again, you know, we put the, yep, there we go, Tigger, put it in. Put the tape in. There you go. Get it in there. Get it in there. What's wrong? Put it back in. You gotta put it back in. Come on, put it back in. Are you taking a nap? Okay, you're gonna take a nap. Nope, she's gonna play with it. Yeah. So again, if we push the tape in, what that's gonna do is it's gonna activate that switch, disconnect the power, right? Take the power out, put the power back on. Oh, now it takes the cassette. And of course, it's got this cassette inside, which is so we just need to do a repair on the switch. So I know what's going on here. Also, the this door here, this bottom door, is not going down, because this door is supposed to go. Yeah, okay, so we had to take off the front faceplate so that we can get this out. So what we have to do is we actually have to push the cassette carriage forward just enough so that we can get to those bottom screws. So we're gonna have to actually, I'm gonna put a tape in and I'm gonna start the loading cycle so that we can get to the screws, because there's a screw on the bottom here on each side here, back in the corners there. And without the so we have to get those screws out. Now it's been a while since I worked on one of these 711Ds, so I have to refresh my memory on how these are together. So yeah, you can see the screw right there. You can see that screw there. And then over here, there's another screw. So we just have to get the cassette housing forward enough so that I can access those two screws. What I've done is I've put a cassette inside, and then what I've done was moved the worm gear. So the worm gear has to be moved downward. So you go this way, you just keep moving the worm gear, and you want to go that way. So you want to go, you know, towards the left there. But you can move the worm gear, and that will, you just use the cassette just so to get it started. Then you can pull the cassette out and finish the loading cycle with the worm gear, and now we can get to these two screws. So why Sony would design something like this is beyond me. This is really dumb, the way they've designed, the way they've got these screws, so you can't hardly get to it. And this is one of the models that it's hard to work on, because you've got, everything is so tightly compact, and this thing is just not easy to work on. I do like this chassis, but not to work on, because they're a pain in the ass. I used to think that these were my favorite chassis, but I just like the way they worked. I like the operation of them, but I don't like working on them. Because if you have to work on one of these, they're a pain in the ass. They really are. And I think I know why Sony did away with this design. I think it was because it was not only cost effective, but I think it was too much money, you know, it was just to make this particular chassis. But they only used 3 models. You had the 2500, the 2700, and then the 420. And the SLO 420. And that particular model, like I said, it's just a professional grade 2500. It's the same thing as the 2500, only it's for industrial use. Alright, so I'm actually going to move the worm gear back the other way so that I can get this get to the front screws, but I just want to get this so I can get to the front screws. Once you remove the 4 screws on for the cassette basket, you also want to remove this screw right here, because this will allow the circuit board to lift up. You don't have to undo the circuit board screws. You can just take this one simple screw out and you'll be able to lift the whole entire circuit board. So I've got a ED beta that I'm gonna do on my channel too, but right now I can't find my special screwdriver that I need to fix it. So until I can do that, I can't work on that. But I've got an EDV 9000. Okay. Actually, I think I do have to undo this screw over here, and then the board will lift off. And this is a number 1, but I think a number 0 would fit better. I don't know, but okay. So it should lift up now. So there we go. The circuit board has a crack in the board. It's actually, this piece here is all broke off, but none of the traces are damaged. So, but you can see the mechanism now. You can actually get to the mechanism. So we can lift this up now, but what we got to do is we've got to disconnect. Oh crap, yeah, I forgot about that. We have to get this we have to disconnect, so we have to take that screw out as well so that we can lift this up, because this is, I believe it's on a hinge, but they have so many damn screws in this son of a bitch. I mean, this thing is just, I forgot how much work is involved in taking the cassette housing out. Okay, so we've got the cut washer out. That'll lift off now. I think the best alternative for me to be doing here is to just take the screws out of the, and then I can take the switch and get it out and actually physically clean it with a piece of sandpaper. So that is what you will need to do to the switch, is you'll have to clean it with a piece of sandpaper, because the switch will not make proper contact because there's corrosion on the actual physical switch. And this has actually got multiple switches on it. So I've loosened the screws and you can see that now the switch will actually move here. So that's why I put a little mark with my Sharpie, just to make sure I get it back into the factory position. This is just to kind of show you guys that why I put a mark there. Just want to make sure that switch is in the right spot when I go to reinstall it. So I'm going to finish taking it off, and then we're going to clean it and then reinstall it. So the switch is actually now removed, so I can actually get a piece of sandpaper in there, clean the contacts, and I can see that there is definitely some corrosion. Alright, I got the switch clean. The only thing that I gotta do is work on the front door here. But I got the switch taken care of, so let's plug it in and see if we got rid of our eject light. Because if the eject light doesn't come on, then more than likely we fixed it. Okay, no more orange light. So, we fixed the switch. No, we didn't. Now it's doing that again. So, alright. So, let's see if we got see if we can get a cassette go inside. Alright. There's a problem with the switch. There's something going on with the switch. I might have to replace that switch. Alright, we'll see. We'll have to replace that switch, I think. Yep. Yeah, we're gonna have to replace that switch. Well, guys, I'm working on the front of this thing. This front faceplate had a crack in it, so I heated up my soldering iron. I melted the plastic on the back side so that it would melt back together, which it has. It's not moving anymore. It's pretty solid. So I was thinking of a way to repair the side tabs. Both of these side tabs are broken. So we got a little bit of an idea here. I had a parts deck, and the tabs on it were in really good shape. So I cut the tabs off. Here's what I'm thinking. Just gonna put it on the side here and melt the plastic, or maybe get some glue and glue it to there. As I'm thinking that might actually work. I thought about cutting the existing tabs off and then using the soldering iron to melt the plastic to it. But the problem is that there will be nothing to support it. So if we attach it to the existing one and we put it behind, and I can glue I can glue the two pieces of plastic together like that. And I'm thinking that might be the best way to repair the tabs on this. And this is just a thought that I had. So, let's just see what I can do now. I'm already having some problems with two of the buttons on the front here busted. So I've got tape to hold them in because I can't really do anything. Because you've got broken metal tabs. And these tabs keep the buttons in. And that metal tab broke over here. Over here the metal tab was still there, so I put it back in place. I still put a tape there to kind of reinforce the buttons and keep them in place. Because the customer is not going to want a machine with missing buttons. So I'm trying to do the best job I can to repair this. Also, this front faceplate here, this plastic piece where the filter is and stuff, it's all broken. It's popping out. And it's got a huge scratch. Major scratches. So, which are not going to come out. So I'm going to replace the filter with the other one. It's also got this plastic here. It's more than just a filter. It's this whole plastic piece I can replace. And then I'm going to repair this. So that's what I'm going to do. So I will let you guys know what I've come up with. Well, this is the result of the repair. Basically melted the two pieces of plastic together. Melted the sides there and melted the, as you can see, I kind of melted the back side here. It's not exactly pretty, but you won't see it once it's on the VCR. So I had to reinforce the plastic again over here because it broke. So I'm going to have to do some glue. The melting of the plastic to get it to stick works to hold the tabs into place, but I'll still need something to reinforce it. And I'm going to put some of that Gorilla Glue on here, and that will reinforce the two tabs. So I will put the glue on the back side. Put some glue. It's been a few hours later. I've had dinner and that kind of stuff. I've already done the repair. I put some glue to reinforce the two tabs. So this thing should now mount and no problems. I also put a little glue over there as well. Now I've also used some Novus 3-2-in-1 on the plastic, and it has definitely brought it back up to a shine. I've cleaned the filter on both sides, and as you can see, and I've also gotten rid of most of the scratches are gone that were, and you remember that really deep gouge? It's gone. Yeah. Hey guys, my repair for the front is complete. It is on there nice and solid. I did go ahead and put in another cassette housing, because to take that switch out and put it back in, it was a lot of work, and so it had more problems than just the switch. There were other issues with the cassette housing, so I had one that worked, so I just swapped out the cassette housing So that's good to go. And yes, you'll notice that the tape was going the other direction on this cassette housing, and then I just re-taped them with the strips doing like that because it looks more factory that way. I did clean the drum and the heads. I've also cleaned the audio and control track. And the control track actually got quite a bit of dirt came off of the control track and audio head. This thing is ready to go back. I'm going to put it back together. Yes, you'll also notice that I did do I put the original power supply back in. And the only thing that this has is, for some reason, the power light stays lit at all times. I'm not sure why it's doing that. I have to try and see if I can determine as to what's causing that. I was just wondering if maybe there was a voltage regulator in the power supply that might have been the cause of it. But it seems to do this on all of the power supplies that I put in here. So it's not the power supply, it's got to be something to do with one of the circuit boards. And to be honest with you, it's not a huge deal. I mean, the power being on all the time when you plug it in, it's not really that big of a deal. At least not to me. Now, I will talk to the guy that wants to buy this, and I will talk to him, and I'll tell him, hey, look, the power seems to stay on all the time. I'm not sure what's going on there. I would have to figure it out. So, I don't know. I'm gonna live with it. And, if the owner wants me to fix that, I can. But I would need a schematic and in order to figure out what is exactly causing that. But without a service manual, I'm not really going to be able to really pinpoint what that could be. Well, let's test it. I've got a tape here. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This was one of the last Indiana Jones. This is the one before the new one that they released, because they released a brand new Indiana Jones, and this is the one. This was movie number 4. So it doesn't make that awful noise like the other one was making. The other one had something wrong with it, and I need to do another video on that and discover as to what might have been the cause of that other cassette housing not working. But let's go ahead and play. Working good. Forward. Reverse. Plays beautifully. And we're going to... I have the audio down because I don't want to get hit with a copyright, so the audio is turned way down. Okay, so it works. Let's reset the counter. You know what? I got a better cassette to put in. Ghostbusters. I have like 3 copies of Ghostbusters, so. Alright. These are pretty old tapes, so I don't know how they're gonna play. Well, this one plays good. Oh yeah, this is, Huh. Kicker, did you take that shirt down? Oh, Kiggy. Catch you later. Thanks for watching the video. And hey, hit that subscribe button. That would really help me out. And I would really appreciate it. I feel that, you know, my knowledge that I'm sharing with you guys, I feel like if you subscribe to me, that's your way of thanking me. And it's also, I'm thanking you as well for watching. It benefits you because you'll see more videos. And the more likes I get, the more videos, the more I'm going to be interested in doing more and more videos. So, I will leave you with that note, and I'm signing off now, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.